أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه. My dear friends, I received a question based on a previous video that I published titled No Islamic Revival Without an Intellectual Revolution. And the question that came in was, what is an intellectual revolution? Now let me quickly explain to you what I mean by an intellectual revolution. The word intellectual comes from the word intellect, and the word intellect is connected to the word intelligence, and it all alludes to the capacity of us to reflect rationally, to ponder rationally. And so when we speak about an intellectual revolution, it is a new way, a completely different way of making sense, of thinking, of understanding. Let me just remind you that the word revolution is not strange to the Holy Qur'an. That word is very much in the Qur'an. Just take a look at this amazing verse, chapter 5, verse 52. Where it says, فَتَرَى الَّذِينَ فِي قُلُوبِهِمْ مَرَضٌ يُسَارِعُونَ فِيهِمْ يَقُولُونَ نَخْشَى أَن تُصِيبَنَا دَائِرَةٌ. That is the essential first part of this verse. And it translates to, and so you see those whose thinking is defective, eager to be in their camp, stating, we do so because we fear that a revolution may harm us. We do so because we fear that a revolution will harm us. Da'iratu. And so what we deduce from this verse and from the Quran is that those who are opposed to the revival, to the change, to the emancipation of humanity from enslavement to other than the real master, the real sustainer, the real Rahman, that part of humanity fears that the changeover, the new way of thinking, the new way of practice will threaten their stability, their ability to continue with their lives as usual. And so the word revolution is very much there. It is to be seen, and it, in terms of meaning also, we know that no enemy, no oppressor who is maintaining a system of oppression would want that system to be under threat. So an intellectual revolution is a revolutionary new way of understanding your role, who your oppressor is, who your friends are, and how you should proceed to emancipate yourselves from that system of oppression. And that is an intellectual revolution. It is a revolutionary new way of thinking, of understanding. It is a way of realizing what is and what is not. And that, my friends, is the intellectual revolution I speak of. Now, an intellectual revolution will not just cover the sublime, which can also be understood as the sacred, because sacred laws and sacred norms and sacred knowledge is knowledge which is protected, knowledge which is enshrined, knowledge which is timeless. That is what we mean by sacred knowledge. So knowledge, a revolution in knowledge would include at the level of sacred, how we come to understand what the sacred is. And you cannot swap the sacred for what is on the next level, which is the mundane. So you have the sublime or the sacred, and you have the mundane. The mundane is that knowledge which relates to our everyday lives. The Qur'an is the repository of all sacred knowledge. That is where sacred, unquestionable, timeless, eternal, objective, axiomatic truths are found. And you cannot swap knowledge that is outside of that repository, the sacred repository, the Qur'an, the Lawhun Mahfuz. You cannot replace knowledge in that sacred tablet with knowledge that is in the realm of the mundane. We need a revolution not only in our sacred understanding of the Qur'an, which means we need to reaffirm what is sacred and disaffirm that which is not sacred. Now, what those who have corrupted and interfered with the message have done over the centuries is to intermingle that which is sacred, that which is contained in the sacred text, with material that is outside of that sacred ambit. And so in mixing the two, they have reduced our focus, taken our focus away from the core essential sacred. What is sacred? Now, what is sacred? If you open the Holy Qur'an, the Mus'haf, and you only have to read a few chapters, you only have to read for 1 hour, maybe, into that text to realize that what is read there is very different to what the Muslim preachers and priests are preaching at infinitum, without end. That book is a book that preaches social emancipation. It teaches mercy, kindness to those who are weak in society. It teaches love and reverence for your fellow human being and for your Creator. It teaches a sense of restraint, balance, measuredness in our dealing with others. It is a book that addresses firmly the realm of interpersonal and social relations. And that is what is regarded as sacred. It is not essentially focused on a personal, spiritual journey, although it is also covered in the book. But the essential message of the Quran is for you to fix your relationship with God, to locate yourselves within a timeless frame, to see yourself as being part of a greater supra-cosmic reality, and to plan your life in terms of that reality. And that, my friends, is the sacred message of the Quran, is the sublime aspect of the Quran. When it comes to the mundane is how to do things, how to achieve the objectives that are set as sublime, sacred objectives. So although the Quran will speak about the nobility of jihad, of struggle, of warfare, of martyrdom, of shahada in the cause of God, in confronting those who are violent and at war with you, it never really reveals the exact strategy, the methodology, the way that you should go, the way that you should prepare it. Although it says prepare the best of arms against them, it doesn't prescribe what type of arms. It doesn't prescribe that it should be a sword or a Stinger missile or a whatever tank or drone. So the mundane, knowledge of the mundane is also important, and that knowledge revolution is also important. So not only do we have to excel in the knowledge of the sublime, of the sacred, which is contained in the Quran, which we have to apply our best fiqh, our best effort to understand and to seek the meaning, but we have to excel in knowledge of the mundane, of how to achieve those divine, sublime, sacred objectives. So my friends, when I speak about a knowledge revolution, I mean in an all-encompassing way. And what I don't refer to is what the Salafist refers to as knowledge. For the Salafist, knowledge is memorizing 100,000 hadiths. Knowledge is taking a story that was unintended for this purpose from 1400 years ago and horseshoeing it into a situation that you face today. In other words, it is applying a practice that was conducted under completely different times and circumstances to today's conditions. It's like saying to somebody flying a plane that here is the voice recorder in the cockpit, voice recorder of another flight to New York, for example. You conduct the same controls on the levers and on the controls that this person conducted. You cannot repeat the same procedures in terms of controlling the aircraft. You as a pilot have to renew the way in which you conduct the aircraft to arrive at your destination. Similarly, our knowledge revolution is an effort of our best scholars, of our best students, to reread the Qur'an, to make sure that we have the meaning of the sacred, and then to reconstruct the mundane, reconstruct the contents of our day-to-day rituals, practices, whatever we are engaged in to advance ourselves as a people. And so that, my friends, is the knowledge revolution which I speak about. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. If you like this video, please subscribe to my channel, click the like button, and please share it with anyone that you think might also be interested